Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. This is going to be more or less me talking about trading and hats once again, as I think quite a few of you enjoy just being updated on certain things in that aspect. But Valve have basically introduced another very late update to an item that's been in a game a good few years, and that is the Pyromancer's Mask, which is obviously available in unusual form. It's now become a Misc, and this is like the 4th or 5th time that they've done this. I'm going to try and remember a few of them that they've done this to in the past. The first one I can remember was the Viewfinder, which first came into the game as an all-class hat, which they later updated to become a Misc, meaning you can wear it with other hats. Because to be fair, it does just go on the eyes, not anything like above. The second I remember was the Soldier Stash and Lucky Shot. I remember those shooting up in price and you being able to wear both of them. I'm not sure about what other hats you can wear with those though. I'm pretty sure you can wear the War Pig too. Along with the Master's Yellow Belt, that definitely shot up in price. I remember getting one of those for 7 buds or so, and then like maybe a week later I managed to sell it for like 15 buds. It's kind of crazy, and I was happy about that because it makes sense why that would be a Misc. Along with the Viewfinder, Polar Pullover, like I didn't even know that existed. I didn't even know what the item was, but that came shortly after the Yellow Belt. And that was the second unusual all-class Misc to come into the game. Obviously all of these thus far are late updates onto items that have already existed. And now we finally have the Pyromancer's Mask, which is a hat I've pretty much always liked ever since this animation that Krasny B made. And you can actually see the scout behind him wearing it with a Big Chief, which I think is kind of amusing because obviously now it is a Misc. But I'll link that video to you guys in the description. It's a really good one. And yeah, now the speculation can begin. I honestly think there are going to be a good few more hats turning into Miscs within the next few months, because the distance between these sort of late additions to the game aren't really that far apart. I believe that the ones most likely to become Miscs, and I'm not trying to start a hype train or you know force opinions on people to buy them. Yeah, I didn't know. Nope. Apologies for that, but I do think other hats most likely to become Miscs would probably include the Industrial Festivizer, seeing it is pretty much just festive lights and that could trim or go with any hat as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure you guys probably think something that just wouldn't work, but as far as I can think right now, it just makes sense to sit on top of any item or at least go around it. And besides that, I would probably say the Mask of the Shaman for the Demo Man, which I said in a previous video. Especially seeing as there's not yet a Demo Man unusual Misc, besides like maybe the old class one, which obviously he can now wear, but you know there's not one specific for that class. Something I didn't say was the fact that there were already 2 other unusual Miscs available for the Pyro, one of which being the Coffin Kit and one of which being the Hazmat. Now both of these are retired, meaning that you can no longer unbox them as an unusual or unbox them at all, but you know, to get one of these in any effect, it's going to probably cost you double figures in buds, so 10 or more. And whilst it might be a good thing that the Pyromancer's Mask is now a Misc and you can still unbox it, and obviously it's probably going to be quite a bit cheaper than these other ones, you got to remember that there are probably people that have traded over the last week or two and sold their Pyromancer's Masks, only to find out today that they probably could have got maybe 40% more for the same like hat. So that's kind of crushing for any trader. Like no matter how much you have, it's going to be kind of demoralizing and just disheartening, if I'm honest. And meanwhile, you're going to get all these people trying to sell it for like a whole lot more and highballing. Like I'm not complaining, like saying they shouldn't, because that's what I did when I got my Sunbeam's Yellow Belt. I tried to sell it for 15 and I did. So I'm a bit conflicted with my thoughts because obviously one of Valve's updates paid off for me because I happen to have that Sunbeam's Yellow Belt, but at the same time I don't really agree with these late updates on items that already exist in the game, especially for the Pyromancer's Mask, which has now turned into a Misc maybe 3 or 4 years late, especially if they always intended for it to be a Misc. But whilst I've been sitting here talking about this, I did think about the idea that maybe Valve just wants to add more unusual Miscs for different classes, and the alternative to making these late changes on hats that already exist would be to maybe grab new items from the Steam Workshop and allow them to be unboxed. But the problem with that, I think, would be the fact that you're not going to see a lot of the effects available on that hat for maybe a year or two, because the amount of effects and hats you can now unbox from a crate, you know, as an unusual is ridiculous. Like this is the reason that like the classic effects, or first gen, sorry, are so rare. Unless you obviously unbox crates under Series 25, because otherwise then you're only going to get, you know, certain effects, the old ones. But from what I've seen on unusuals that have recently come to the game, the majority of them in existence tend to be things like dead presidents and, you know, new effects like that, just because, you know, generally overall most people that unbox like the newer or newest crates, which allow you to unbox all the different effects, obviously besides Halloween. So hopefully that makes sense, and this kind of discussion was fairly interesting to some of you. Probably did waffle on quite a bit, but I'm very curious to hear your guys' opinions. I'm sure to the majority of you that don't trade, you know, you don't really care. You're probably happy the Pyromancer's mask is a Misc, and I would say overall I am happy with it, but I don't really agree with these late updates. So let me know your guys' opinions. I would love to read them and reply to a few in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.